Joseph, it is really great talking to you again today. I'm enjoying the series so far, so congrats on just creating the whole thing.
Oh, thanks so much. And congrats on an amazing DVD collection. Look at those back
Thank
there.
you.
Hey, I
Just a few of
recognize
my
some of those.
favorites of yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, when the idea behind Mr. Corman started kind of percolating in your head, how do you then determine what's going to be the best medium for it? Whether it was going to be a movie or like an ongoing series, a limited series?
That's funny. It's a great question. I was recently looking back at my first notes when I first wrote down the idea for Mr. Corman. And in that very first kind of journal entry, it almost was, I was talking about it as a series. I've been so inspired by series lately. My favorite filmmaking of the last number of years is Atlanta and Fleabag.
Did I just say Fleabag?
I think you did,
Atlanta
but I
and
knew what you were
Fleabag.
talking about, so I think it's okay. But you're onto
I mean,
something about that
I
extended.
love cinema.
But series just allow you to kind of dive in deeper because you have more time and go off on tangents that to me feel like real life. And so I've been really loving telling a story in the format of a series.
Good. Oh, I love hearing that. And it's true about the storytelling is very different in this medium. Now, one of the stories in this is you dealing with Mr. Corman dealing with the pandemic. Now, was that always part of the plan, or did you kind of start this pre-pandemic and then have to pivot later on when you could get back into production?
Yeah, that's how it went. We were shooting for 3 weeks in, the world of the past. and COVID arrived and we shut down like everybody. And we were trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? Should we tell a story that involves this pandemic or not? And we could set it in the past, but then that'll feel like the past. We could set it in some kind of future where the pandemic's gone, but we don't know what that future is going to look like or when it's coming. And so we decided we're going to leave the first 7 episodes the way they are. And then just for the last 3 episodes, show the arrival of the pandemic and kind of make a piece of historical fiction out of what we all went through. And it actually fit really morbidly well with with the themes of the show, because this is a character whose tendency is to catastrophize. I don't know if you know anybody like that. I'm not like that at all. But sometimes I can tend to like get in my head and make the worst out of any given situation and drive myself crazy. And the pandemic is the exact nightmare for a person like that. And so it actually, I think the story that we ended up telling that has this sort of trilogy of episodes at the end that are set in the spring of 2020. I think it was actually ended up being a lot more profound and interesting and than the original scripts we had written.
Interesting. I mean, episode A, now that you've mentioned it, is actually one of my favorite episodes in the series, just to see what your character goes through. Now, you've worked with some of the best directors, with Spielberg and Christopher Nolan and Oliver Stone. Did you bring any of their styles into your own directing as you've kind of flourished in that now?
I hope so. I was certainly watching closely when I got to be on set with those directors, some of the younger up and comers too. Like Ryan Johnson or Mark Webb. Aurora Guerrero, who directed two of the episodes of Mr. Corman. I directed 8 and she directed 2. She's a fantastic director coming out of Sundance, and it was a real pleasure to work with her. And I love acting, but directing's a whole different thing. You get to play with all the different facets of the process, the camera, the editing, the score. I love having those tools to play with. And so it was a lot of fun for me that way.
Joseph, I got the wrap, unfortunately, because I want to keep talking to you, but congrats on the series, and I hope people enjoy it.
Thank you so much. Great talking to you.
Thank you. Yeah, you too. Take care.